You know that gut punch feeling when someone's sheer nerve makes you wonder if you're in some twisted alternate universe? Yeah, that's exactly what hit me when Susan Blackwell tried to muscle in on my late mom's cozy cabin up in the Ozarks, thinking she could just steamroll right over our family's history like it was nothing. But what she didn't count on was me, with my 15 years slinging real estate law, ready to push back hard on anyone messing with what mattered most. Hey folks, I'm Michael Thompson, and about 6 months back I said goodbye to my mom Margaret, after she fought like hell against cancer. She was my rock, my guide through every storm, the one who drilled into me that life's about holding your ground for what's right, even when it feels like the world's against you. That little cabin on Cedar Lake Drive, tucked away on 2 acres of prime waterfront with its own rickety dock and sandy patch she'd babied for years, it was her escape, our family's memory vault, bought outright in '85 with Dad's insurance money after he passed too soon, back when the area was all wild woods and quiet dreams. And in her will, she left it to me with this simple note: guard the calm, son, but don't let folks walk all over your good heart. Little did I know that advice would turn into my battle cry. Susan lived in this flashy McMansion 2 lots down, all sleek lines and chrome that screamed new money against the old school charm of the other cabins. She'd shown up 5 years ago with her hedge fund hubby James, and right off the bat, she'd acted like Queen of the Lake, griping to Mom about our dock spoiling her sunset views, demanding we chop trees that were squarely on our side, even sniping about how our quaint setup was dragging down the whole neighborhood's vibe. Mom had shared those stories with me over coffee, laughing it off mostly, but I could tell it wore on her, especially toward the end, when the chemo left her too tired to fight back. What Susan didn't realize was that her pushy games were about to run smack into a guy who'd built a career dismantling bullies in courtrooms. And grieving or not, I wasn't about to let her tarnish Mom's legacy. It all kicked off on this chilly fall morning, leaves turning gold, air crisp like fresh apple cider. I'm up at the cabin, knee-deep in boxes, sorting through Mom's old photo albums and knickknacks, my chest tight from the memories flooding back, when here comes Susan striding across the grass like she owns every blade. She's in her designer yoga gear, hair perfect as always, that smug grin saying she's used to getting her way without even asking nicely. No sorry for your loss. No how you holding up, just straight to it. Oh, good, you're finally here. We've got to talk about this place now that Margaret's gone. Her voice had that clipped edge, like she was reading from some script she'd rehearsed in her mirror. I set down my mug, feeling this slow burn start in my gut, because hearing Mom's name from her felt wrong, disrespectful, like she was just another obstacle cleared. What about it, Susan? I ask, keeping it cool, though my lawyer brain's already spotting red flags. She whips out her phone, scrolls to her notes, always prepared, that one, and launches in. James and we've basically been the caretakers of this whole stretch for ages, keeping things classy, handling the upkeep, and honestly, covering for your mom's, well, let's say her standards slipped a bit lately. Oh man, that hit like a sucker punch. Mom had kept that place spotless right up to her last days, gardens blooming, porch swept, all while chemo ravaged her. But Susan's tossing it off like it was fact, her eyes gleaming with that fake sympathy. So what's your point? I press, and she flashes this too bright smile. We're offering to buy it off you. Generous price, way above market for its condition. Saves you the headache of taxes and fixes from the city, and we can fold it into our vision for the lakefront. Vision? Yeah, right. Like turning our slice of peace into her personal empire. I stare her down, the audacity sinking in. She's lowballing our history, framing it as charity. Not for sale, Susan. Mom had plans for this place, and they don't include you. Her face twitches, that mask cracking. Come on, Michael. Be real. You're a city guy, buried in work. This needs locals who get it, not some absentee dragging us down. I stand taller, channeling every courtroom stare down. Conversation's done. The cabin stays with me. She backs off, but not without a parting shot. Fine. But we've chatted with folks around here, and there's worries about what happens next. We're not dropping this. As she marches away, I feel this knot tighten. Grief mixing with rage, knowing she's just declared war, but hey, she picked the wrong guy to underestimate. From there, it ramped up quick. Petty at first, like anonymous tips to the county about our dock inching over lines it never did. Septic leaks that weren't there. Even noise complaints on weekends I was miles away in the city. Each one bogus, but they ate my time. forcing calls and paperwork, wearing me down when I was already raw from the loss. Then came her big swing, a petition signed by a couple of her cronies, newer folks she'd charmed or bullied, demanding the town probe if I was running some rental racket because I'd let buddies crash there occasionally, painting it as a threat to the serene community vibe. I was livid, pacing the porch at night, wondering why she was so hell-bent on this one spot. Was it just ego or something deeper? See, Susan wasn't your garden variety busybody. Turns out her beef ran way back. Mom had once shut down Susan's push for a neighborhood association that had let her dictate everyone's landscaping, citing old covenants about keeping things natural, and Susan, with her control freak streak, never forgave that slight, especially as her own lot's value hinged on upgrading the area to attract her rich friends. But digging in, I sensed more, greed layered on top, maybe tied to her shaky finances or some grand scheme to flip the whole strip. That's when I flipped the script, grief fueling my fire. I dove into records like it was my day job, pulling deeds and surveys from the county office, chatting quietly with old-timers who'd known Mom forever. What popped up first? Susan and James's place, snapped up in 2018 for 1.8 mil, but loaded with refinances and a fat equity loan they'd tapped right as Mom's health tanked. Coincidence? Hardly. Their lot had this fatal flaw, swampy edges blocking any real boat access, while ours boasted the deepest, clearest drop-off on Cedar Lake Drive, prime for whatever empire they dreamed up. Neighbors spilled the tea. Old Mrs. Harlan across the water whispered how Susan had trash-talked Mom for months, calling her forgetful and unfit to manage, all to soften folks up for a takeover. Then Jake Morales down the road laid it out. Susan's master plan to scoop up dated cabins like ours, raise them for luxury builds, with our spot as the crown jewel for its water rights. She'd even floated it at barbecues, positioning herself as the savior of property values. And the town clerk, Betty Klein? She mentioned Susan sniffing around abandonment rules. If a place sat empty too long, could the community intervene? It clicked. This wasn't random entitlement. It was a calculated power play, blending her HOA dreams with raw ambition to dominate the lakefront, exploiting my grief to clear her path, man that lit a fire under me, turning sorrow into steel. But the real gold came from Mom's old agent, Evelyn Grant, retired but sharp as ever. She'd sold Mom the cabin back in '85 and remembered the quirks. Your mom's lot wasn't just pretty. It held the key easement from the '60s plats, a mandated access strip for the whole row, 'cause state law demanded every owner get to the water, no matter wetlands or whatever. I raced to verify. Bam, there it was in the faded files. Our Lot 14 controlled passage for 11 through 17, including Susan's 16, with us holding veto power on uses to preserve rustic integrity per eco-covenants against overbuilds. A quick survey nailed it. Her fancy fence and shrubs nibbled into the path, and state permits. Denied her dock dreams twice for marsh issues, but her latest tweak relied on our easement, filed sneaky-like while Mom faded. She'd timed it all, betting I'd fold under pressure. Big mistake. I set the trap calm as could be, calling her midweek. Susan, I've dug into things. Let's chat this afternoon at the cabin? She shows with James, all smiles, thinking victory. Michael, glad you're seeing sense. James crunched numbers. Our offer's solid. I hand over the folder, poker-faced. Actually, it's about the easement. Your access runs through us, and as controller, I've got regs. James scans it, face dropping like a bad trade. Susan, you knew about this? She bristles. Of course, but Margaret never enforced. Mom was kind, I cut in. But kindness ain't obligation. Here's the notice. No commercial halls, no builds tying to our path. Her color drains. You can't block us, James mutters, horrified. This tanks everything. I pile on. Demands to yank complaints, apologize for smearing Mom as unstable, drop the dev plans, or face suits for harassment, defamation, even unlicensed real estate meddling, since she'd posed as an expert without creds. Susan sputters. This is blackmail! James shoots her a look. What rumors? And as it unravels, her facade crumbles, him realizing her schemes could have cost them big. They caved quick, note in my box next day, complaints withdrawn, plans scrapped. James even swung by later for dock tips, turning almost neighborly once free of her grip. The lake stayed wild, community breathed easy, no mega mansions swallowing the charm Mom guarded. Setting up a trust for the cabin, I felt her spirit. She'd bought not just land but a shield against greed, teaching me stewardship's about quiet resolve, not flash. But here's the twist that still nags. Was Susan pure villain, or just a product of cutthroat circles where land's power and vulnerability's fair game? Makes you wonder about justice in tight-knit spots. Hey, drop a comment. Ever stared down a bully over what's yours? Was it worth the fight, or should folks just walk away? Share your stories. Let's unpack this mess together.